Have you ever caught yourself feeling like you're living inside a script someone else wrote for you, as if you woke up in the middle of a movie and nobody bothered to explain the plot? Sometimes it's like every hurdle, every setback, and every frustration is just part of someone else's plan. But here's the reality check that might blow your mind. Those limits you keep bumping into aren't as unbreakable as they seem. The boundaries you think are locked in stone are often just illusions that got handed down to you by your culture, your parents, your environment, until they felt like unchangeable facts. But what if you discovered that these rules of life weren't the absolute truth? What if you realized that the maze you've been trying to solve has walls made of paper, and you can walk right through them anytime you choose? When I first heard the idea that life's rules might be nothing more than suggestions, I thought, yeah, right. That sounds way too convenient. Then I started noticing the people around me who seemed to bend reality in their favor. That friend who just decided one day to switch careers and ended up flourishing, or that relative who ignored the usual path and built a thriving business out of nowhere. How do they do it? After digging deeper, I realized the common denominator wasn't luck, special connections, or genius IQ. It was a single insight. Reality is far more negotiable than most of us have been led to believe. In fact, the life you're living now is shaped by a hidden force, a force that's inside you, yet so powerful it can filter everything you see. And yes, we're talking real science, not magical wishful thinking. Let's start by talking about your Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short. It's the gatekeeper in your brain that decides which bits of the world around you deserve your attention. Picture your mind as a bodyguard at a very exclusive nightclub, turning some people away and ushering others straight through to the VIP lounge. That's your RAS. If you're convinced the world is full of hostility and danger, guess what your RAS will do? It'll highlight every moment of conflict, every headline confirming your fears, and conveniently disregard the evidence that life can also be kind and abundant. Conversely, if you genuinely believe opportunities are everywhere, you'll start spotting them even if they're subtle and overlooked by others. What's stunning is that your RAS doesn't care whether your beliefs are accurate. It simply enforces them. Think about how that plays out in your everyday life. If you repeat to yourself, "I'm not a math person," you probably won't notice the free course in coding offered at your local library. You might dismiss or not even see a job posting that involves numbers. But if you're open to learning, if you tell yourself, "I can figure this out," the same opportunities suddenly become visible and interesting. And that is exactly why one person can zoom ahead to success, while another stands still, even though they might have the same natural talents or resources available. They're working with completely different rules, all because of the lens they're wearing. It gets even more mind-blowing when you realize those lenses aren't yours alone. Most of us inherited them. They come from well-meaning family, from peers, from random throwaway comments we heard growing up, like, "You have to hustle non-stop, or you'll fail. Money doesn't grow on trees. You're just not cut out to be a leader," or "Stick to what you know it's safer." These messages carved out the blueprint we're living by. We rarely question them because they feel like common sense. But the moment you do question them, really question them, you might discover they're not actually serving you. It's like discovering you've been carrying a backpack full of bricks you never even packed, and you're allowed to just set it down. So how do you do that? Exactly. One of the most revealing exercises is to ask yourself which rules you've been following without realizing it. Maybe you've absorbed the idea that you must stay in a job you dislike because that's what responsible adults do. Or you constantly tell yourself you're too old or too young to go for your real passion. Write those assumptions down. Seriously, just putting them on paper has a way of snapping you awake. Then ask yourself, are these rules absolutely true, or are they just stories I'm buying into? In many cases, you'll realize these beliefs only persist because they've never been challenged. Like a magician's trick that works in the dark but falls apart the minute someone shines a spotlight on it. Now, before we dive any deeper, let's address something crucial. This isn't about denying reality. It's about acknowledging that your perceptions shape what you notice, and what you notice shapes what you believe is possible. If you believe you have no options, your brain won't bother searching for any. If you believe solutions are out there, your brain becomes a detective, hunting for the slightest clue that might lead to success. This is why reprogramming your beliefs is so powerful. Once you nudge your RAS in a new direction, it starts gathering fresh evidence to reinforce the new perspective. It's like switching from wearing blue-tinted glasses to rose-colored ones. The external world doesn't magically change, but the way you perceive it does, and that makes all the difference in how you move forward. A lot of folks stop at the belief stage though. They assume that if they just recite affirmations or think happy thoughts, everything will fall into place. Let me tell you, belief is essential, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. Action is where you turn theory into reality. You can't imagine your way into building a house without lifting a single tool. In the same way, you can't transform your life if you never put one foot in front of the other. Every small step you take, signing up for that night class, reaching out to a mentor, making a 30-minute block in your schedule to work on your dream acts like a signal to your brain that you are, in fact, rewriting the narrative. It's physical proof that you believe change is possible. Think of it like gathering momentum. A single snowflake doesn't do much on its own, but a growing snowball rolling downhill can trigger an avalanche. That's momentum, a series of seemingly minor actions that add up to a dramatic, unstoppable shift. And momentum leads to quantum leaps, those seemingly sudden surges forward that make outsiders think, wow, you got lucky. But luck is rarely the full story. Usually, there's a backlog of effort and a shift in mindset that sets the stage for those big jumps. The effort loosens the invisible rules. Then, almost out of nowhere, the walls give way, and you find yourself crossing the finish line. Of course, one thing that can stall your momentum is emotional baggage. We've all been there, carrying around regrets, painful memories, grudges, maybe a deep-rooted feeling that we're unworthy. Picture these as bricks in a backpack that you're lugging around day in and day out. After a while, it's just normal to feel tired, weighed down, stressed. But here's the eye-opener. You don't have to carry them. You can choose to let them go. Yes, it's easier said than done, but you'd be amazed how powerful a simple visualization can be. Take a moment, close your eyes, envision yourself removing that backpack of emotional bricks, and watch it dissolve. Then imagine a bright, revitalizing light filling that space. It sounds a bit playful, but your subconscious is a powerful ally. It responds well to symbols and mental images. Even a short exercise like that can give you a profound sense of relief and create space for the good stuff you want in your life. Once you've shed some of that heaviness, raising your personal energy becomes much more natural. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a tension in the air, even though nobody said anything? Or met someone whose presence alone seemed to uplift everyone around them? That's the power of energy fields. We're all broadcasting a certain vibe. Call it emotional frequency, aura, state of mind, whatever you like, and this broadcast has a direct influence on what and who we attract. When you vibrate at higher frequencies like joy, gratitude, or love, you're more open, you're more creative, and you're more magnetic to possibilities that match that energy. Conversely, when you stay stuck in fear, anger, or apathy, you're essentially tuned to a channel that broadcasts more of the same negativity right back to you. If you want a quick hack for boosting your frequency, try a gratitude blitz. Close your eyes and think of 5 specific things you're grateful for. Not just big ones, like friends or family, but simple, day-to-day stuff. Sunlight through the window, a great cup of coffee, a funny meme that made you laugh. Let yourself really feel that gratitude in your body. That emotional surge can instantly shift your vibe and help your mind refocus on what's working rather than what's broken. Another hack is movement dance. Do a quick yoga flow. Go for a brisk walk. Physical activity breaks up stagnant energy and jolts your system into a more optimistic state. Think of it as shaking off the dust on your internal antenna so it can receive better signals. Now, let's talk about the ultimate key to sustaining transformation: daily rituals that keep you aligned with your new reality. It's easy to get fired up in a moment of inspiration, but if you don't reinforce that mindset, the old habits will sneak back in. Humans crave familiarity and comfort, even if that comfort is actually discomfort disguised as routine. So create a simple daily practice that doesn't feel like a chore. Maybe you start each morning by visualizing one goal as if it's already manifested, feeling the thrill of it in your chest. Then you jot down a quick intention for the day, something you'll do to inch closer to your dream. In the evening, take 2 minutes to reflect. Did you do that thing? If yes, celebrate. If not, forgive yourself and vow to try again tomorrow. Consistency is the magic ingredient. Just like brushing your teeth, a little bit of daily upkeep prevents big problems down the line. While you're at it, don't underestimate the power of environment. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're constantly surrounded by negative people or immersed in doom scrolling online, it's like trying to keep a candle lit in a windstorm. You might need to set boundaries, whether that means spending less time with chronic complainers or rearranging your social media feeds to showcase content that lifts your spirits. You might need to declutter your living space so it stops reminding you of chaos. Every tweak you make to your surroundings is a subtle way of reinforcing your new mindset. When people see you doing this, they might roll their eyes or accuse you of being too sensitive. But this is your journey, not theirs, and you owe it to yourself to create an environment where your transformation can flourish. You might be wondering, is there a finish line to all this? The truth is, life isn't about a final destination where everything is perfect and we can just press pause. It's an ongoing evolution. There's always another layer of limitation to challenge, another skill to learn, another fear to conquer. And that's a good thing. Embrace the idea that you're playing an endless game, discovering new levels as you go. Each new challenge you tackle is a chance to build more resilience, more empathy, more wisdom. It's part of the dance, part of the fun, part of the growth. When you adopt this perspective, you stop panicking about not having everything figured out and start enjoying the journey as it unfolds. So here's what I hope you'll take away from all of this. You are not a passive extra in the movie of your life. You're the scriptwriter, the director, and the lead actor, all rolled into one. The rules you thought were set in stone can be questioned, rewritten, or flat out ignored if they don't serve you. That doesn't mean throwing common sense out the window. It means daring to ask whether the story you're living is really yours. If it's not, you can change it. You can design a new set of beliefs, train your brain to see new opportunities, let go of dead weight, emotional baggage, and step forward with intentional, purposeful action. And when you do, watch how the universe starts rearranging itself to match your new sense of possibility. I want to challenge you now to take one idea from what you've heard and put it into practice today. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Today, maybe you'll take out a piece of paper and list one invisible rule that's been suffocating you. Maybe you'll do a quick gratitude blitz before you head to work. Maybe you'll finally write that email to pitch a bold idea you've been hesitating on. Whatever it is, just do it. That small step is like a spark in a dark room. It can illuminate new paths you never noticed. And if you found this message helpful, why not share it with someone else who needs a reminder that they hold the pen to their own story? You never know whose life you might help transform just by passing the torch. Remember, those invisible rules are only as strong as you allow them to be. They might look carved in stone, but they're really traced in dust. The second you decide to wipe them away and write a new script, everything changes. Write "changing now" in the comments if you're taking the leap, and let's keep this momentum going together. You're the creator here, and your new reality is waiting for you to bring it to life.